And to talk more about Catalonia's bid for independence, I'm joined from London by Emeritus Professor of Spanish Studies at the London School of Economics and Political Science, Sebastian Balfour. Professor Balfour, thank you for joining us here on The World. Can I ask you, what chance is there that Madrid would ever permit a referendum, would ever permit independence?
Well, under the present administration, there's no chance at all. The Prime Minister has said he will guarantee that the referendum is not held. I doubt very much whether he can, follow this through. What is very likely is that there will be a unilateral referendum held. What is not clear is whether this will achieve a majority. The opinion polls suggest anything between 46% and 52% will vote for independence, but there is a solid minority, if you like, something like 43% according to opinion polls at present, who will vote against it.
What about the Catalan president, Artur Mas? I hope I pronounced that correctly. Does he have the drive and the personality to push ahead with this?
Well, he seems to be pledging himself to certainly holding the referendum. What agenda he has beyond that is difficult to tell. It's very likely that any referendum will be ignored by the central government, which will leave him the choice of a unilateral declaration of independence, which I think most observers would say is very unlikely indeed. So what it certainly would give him, if the referendum approves independence, would be a very strong bargaining chip with central government.
What about non-Catalonians, if you like, Spanish people in general? How would they see something like this?
Oh, I think it's pretty clear from opinion polls that the vast majority of Spaniards are against Catalan independence.
And in terms of the Basques, we've been hearing about Basques and separatists and movements for many years. Are there similarities between their demands? Is it simply that they see themselves as distinct entities from Spaniards?
Yes, I think a majority of Basques do so. As half of Catalan population as well. I think there's a comparative grievance here between Catalans and Basques. The Catalans see Basques having achieved greater autonomy than they have in their constitutions. And so the Catalans would very much like to see the same powers devolved to them, such as the power to collect 100% of taxes, for example. So that may be, again, it's very speculative because nothing has come out in any of the interviews. That may be part of the agenda of Artur Mas, which is to use this successful referendum, if indeed it is successful, to demand greater powers.
And what kind of model is the situation in Scotland? Because, of course, many years ago, before Alex Salmond came to power, people said this really wasn't possible. Then he became the leader, and now there's to be a referendum on Scottish independence. So is this a sort of spur to people in Catalonia?
Well, I think it is. The situation is very different indeed. The context is very different. That is to say, the British national government has said they are not against the referendum being held. They're not going to take any measures to block it. And there's a curious coincidence of dates here. Perhaps it's not so curious. But first of all, the Scottish referendum will be held in September and the Catalan referendum in November if it goes ahead. Secondly, if you like, the historical markers, the historical precedents are very similar. The Act of Union between England and Scotland was in 1707, whereas Catalonia lost its autonomy in 1714. So only 7 years difference, but the situation is very different indeed. Catalonia lost its autonomy because they were defeated in the War of Spanish Succession, whereas Scotland volunteered, in a sense, to form an Act of Union with England.
Could the Catalans look after themselves economically?
Well, that is a problem that's very difficult to judge. It depends very much on what the EU what sort of response the EU will give. Will Catalonia have to reapply to be a member of the EU, and what kind of process would that consist of? That's not clear at all at this stage. And secondly, what kind of cooperation is the national government of Spain likely to give to Catalonia? What about the question of taxes? What about a question of solidarity fund whereby richer regions contribute to poorer regions of Spain? What about VAT, etc., etc.? What about defence? All these are problems that would need to be negotiated. But it's very difficult to see at this stage anyway a unilateral declaration of independence, or the Spanish government, which will be in office till 2015, agreeing to any form of independence at all.
We appreciate your expertise on the matter. Professor Sebastian Balfour, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.